Today, I have hand-selected my dream Breitling watch collection. This is going to be good. Welcome back to the Chisholm Hunter channel. My name is Harrison, as always. And yes, I know, it's weird that I've never talked about Breitling, but today we're talking about Breitling. And after a week of research, I'm pretty astounded, and actually I'm disappointed in myself for not researching this brand more, because I think some of their watches are absolutely killer. So I've made my dream watch collection. Let's start at the beginning. Let's start with one of my favorites. And it's one of my favorites because look at that. This is the Chronomat GMT. Specifically, it is the white dial variant of the GMT because there's quite a few to pick between. And some of the features that I love about this watch, before we get into the technical reason as to why I would get it. Firstly, it comes in at 40mm, perfect for 6.5-inch wrists. And actually, my tastes over the years have been changing. I like slightly smaller watches. I like slightly slimmer watches, and that feeds into that characteristic. Secondly, it comes in at 11.7mm in thickness, so it's pretty damn thin. Not to mention the bracelet being that kind of Jubilee type bracelet looks really damn unique. But the standout feature to me has to be the stainless steel bezel. Stainless steel bezels are a dying breed in the industry, and I don't really know why they're dying. They're kind of being replaced by ceramic, and I've always had a soft spot for stainless steel bezels because of the aesthetic that they give. I mean, when you reflect this in the light, that white dial mixed with the stainless steel, polished stainless steel bezel just looks so bright and so damn beautiful. Now, yes, I understand the arguments for both stainless steel bezels and ceramic. Ceramic, technically speaking, won't scratch as much, but you just can't beat, in my opinion, the rugged nature of a stainless steel bezel. It just looks, in my opinion, pretty damn great. Now, this is Breitling's traveler watch. It is the watch that you should travel with because it's a GMT watch, and that reads multiple time zones. I myself travel a hell of a lot. Not as much as I used to, but still quite a lot. So that would be my traveling companion. Next in the collection, or the dream watch collection, because I probably couldn't afford this, but it is the Breitling Navitimer Bo1. Now, specifically, we've actually got two variants of this. We've got the 41, which I've picked in black, and we've also got the 43, which I've picked in this kind of slate grey. It's actually quite beautiful on the wrist. I thought it would be too big, but it doesn't wear particularly that big. Now, after I picked these, I did realize that Breitling have an ice blue variant, and everyone can dream, but they can't always come true. If I was to pick the best watch, the one that I would want, it would be the ice blue variant. The Navitimer from Breitling was first introduced in 1952, and the reason for its introduction is that they wanted to allow pilots to do all the necessary calculations from their wrist when they were in the air, which is pretty damn incredible. So to allow pilots to do this, they actually introduced something called the slide rule bezel. Now, it's pretty nerdy, but just turning it feels absolutely great, and it's bi-directional. So this allowed the pilots to make a lot of these important calculations while in the air. The reason that I've picked this for the collection is that I've never actually had a pilot's watch within my collection. I've always thought I'd prefer simplicity, but when I got these on the wrist and I played around with them and actually learnt about the functionality, I was blown away. And that is the Navitimer. Not something that I would normally go for, but you can't deny that the functionality is absolutely awesome. And actually, leather straps aren't something that I normally gravitate towards. However, on pilots' watches, I'm not sure there's another way to do it. I mean, you can always switch it to a NATO, I suppose, but it doesn't scream pilots without a leather strap, if that makes sense. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. The next watch, or actually I've got two of them, is the Super Ocean Heritage, not to be confused with just the Super Ocean, which we'll move on to in a second. Now, the Super Ocean Heritage is actually inspired from the 1950s Super Ocean. So they've taken a ton of inspiration from that, but made it more elegant, made it a little less sporty and more classy, shall we say. Now, the two models that we've picked up are the dark blue, but also the black. There are a couple of different variants to choose between. However, this is just what we could get our hands on. If I had to do it over again, I would probably get the 42mm because that definitely fits my wrists that little bit nicer. The 44 for me is just that little bit chunky. And just following on from that, the 42 in green would probably be the one that I would go for. the most attractive. I think it's the most. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, the mesh bracelet on this is really damn unique, and I really, really enjoy things that are a little bit different, that are a little bit unique, and that's why I'm attracted to this. I feel like I'm at a point in my watch collection where I want different stuff. If you've seen my watch collection update video, you'll know that a lot of what I went for this year has been very similar. Very similar is an understatement. It's been pretty much identical. And I just wanted that something a little bit different. And that's why I would put this in the collection, in the 42mm in green. Next, we move on from the Super Ocean Heritage to probably my favourite, and that's why I've picked 3 of them, but the original Super Ocean. Now, the Super Ocean was released in 1957, and it was part of Breitling's conquest from taking over the skies in the early 1950s to taking over the seas. Now, a couple of years previous, I believe it was 5 years previous, Blancpain released the first ever diving watch. That was quickly followed by Rolex's Rolex Submariner, and then Breitling were next on the scene with the Breitling Super Ocean. And they definitely made a damn impact. These watches are fun. They're bold. And I love the fact that Breitling can use these big, bold colours and actually get away with it and do it well, execute, instead of just adding little pieces here and there. They properly commit to that colour. There's nothing worse than when I see a brand adding a little fleck of colour but not wanting to go too bold, whereas Breitling dive head first and totally colour their dials. For example, there's a new yellow face out. That's incredible. We've also got the kind of ice blue, or Tiffany blue, shall we say, 44mm variant just here. Now, the variants that I've gone with today are the 42mm blue and black dial, but we've also gone for a 44 because it had that beautiful blue colour that I just can't get over. Now, these watches are pretty big, they're pretty chunky, but so are all substantial divers. I mean, you look at the Omega Seamaster, you look at the Tissot Seastar at the other end of the spectrum. They're all pretty big to start with, and that's because they are water resistant, or this watch is water resistant to 300 meters. And that's the Super Ocean, one of the key pieces in their collection. It wouldn't be my favorite out of what I've showed you so far. I'll discuss my favorite in the end, but it's definitely a pretty distinctive piece. Now, the one that I would go for if I had to go for one of these is the 42mm with that kind of light blue color. I think that just looks absolutely cracking. Anyway, let's move on to the next one, which is Drew's favorite watch. Technically, I didn't pick this. Drew behind the camera picked this. And it is the Top Time, Breitling. And we're going to talk about the details, but also talk about the history. The 1950s to the 1970s were a time of change, a time of innovation, and a time of great connection between people. After the wars had finished, everyone realized how incredible it was for the simple pleasures in life. Now, Willie Breitling, over this period, wanted to design a chronograph that kind of represented that fun, outgoing dynamic. And the Top Time is what he came up with. Now, this specific Top Time is the Triumph version, because Breitling actually collaborated with the British motorcycle brand Triumph, and that's why it has this icy blue dial. But I'm going to invite Drew up and ask him to summarize why he wanted this watch, because there's a story to be told here.
Hi. So yeah, basically I saw this watch in the store here in Glasgow, and I had to stop and I was like, I gotta get that watch. Basically having the Tiffany dial with the collaboration of the Triumph bikes, which I'm a big bike lover, don't ride but I love bikes. It was no brainer for me, and I'd never even looked at the brand before, to be honest, but seeing this was just, it's not often I get stopped by watches, so I had to. So I put my note of interest in, and at the time I was actually getting flat. And then I finally got the email, and the flat came through, so I couldn't get it. But they saw they had this reiteration, so it's definitely on the books for me again, but maybe a couple of months' time.
Well, thank you very much for Drew. Everyone, please comment down below saying thank you very much to Drew. I think that is one of your first times on the camera for this channel. Yeah, so that's exciting. We need to get Drew on more often. That is my collection, or my Breitling collection. There's obviously going to be more watches. There's obviously going to be more things coming in that I love, and I will show you them as they come. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. Remember that Chisholm Hunter are official stockists of Breitling watches, so head to the link below if you want to shop any of these watches. Follow us on Instagram, which is Chisholm Hunter Watches. I should have seen that coming. I'll see you soon.